Tom Aspinall's the guy. He's the guy.
Dana White says I'm his man. We love that. We love that on the channel.
And what about Francis Ngannou? You having him? You want some?
The day that I start ducking out of fights and turning opponents down and stuff like that is the day that I'm going to retire. So, as I've always said, and you can ask any promoter I've ever worked with, any guys at the UFC, I'll fight anyone, I'll fight anytime, and I'll fight anywhere. Never turn down a fight in my life, never will. The day that I start thinking about turning down fights is the day that I'll retire. So to answer the question, whoever they want me to fight is who I'm going to fight.
Aspinall has reached his breaking point. Following months without any communication from Jon Jones, a lack of clarity from the UFC, and no confirmation about his future, Aspinall is finally voicing his frustration, and is not pulling any punches. Rumors have been circulating that his next challenger might be Ciryl Gane.
So maybe Jon's not going to come back. Maybe the announcement that Tom's talking about is Jon Jones stepping away, Ciryl Gane stepping in, Tom versus Ciryl for the undisputed belt. Because right now in the heavyweight division, I can't think of anyone else more deserving. Yeah, okay, Volkov, he might have something to say about that.
This is #1 bullshit.
But in terms of a fan favourite, kind of mouth-watering matchup, Ciryl Gane, Tom Aspinall, two gigantic guys, two big dudes, two agile guys, two very, very quick guys. That's a good one. That's a matchup that I would like to see.
Tom says, I will not be fighting Jon Jones. You would know that he is retired.
I'm the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
Tom comes out and says that he is the undisputed champion. There was one tell later in the interview. I said, all right, Tom, let's say you're a matchmaker and you have to match up Ciryl Gane. Do you think that Ciryl should fight for a championship? There's two of them out there right now. And this was the most interesting part of the interview for me. And all I'm doing is trying to play poker with Tom. I'm just looking for a tell. And he said, no, I don't think he should be fighting for a title next. He emphasized think, which left a massive impression on Daniel and I that Tom is fighting Ciryl next, but that Tom doesn't agree with that booking, that it should have gone to somebody other than Ciryl.
But Tom isn't exactly on board with that matchup. According to him, Ciryl Gane hasn't earned another crack at the title. Aspinall believes Gane tends to steer clear of challenging opponents and only shows up when the timing suits him.
Dismissed me on multiple occasions, and I'm not the first guy that he's dismissed. I'm not the first guy that he's ducked. It's out there for people to see. The reason that I got the Pavlovich fight was because Ciryl didn't want it. So he ducked Pavlovich. He then ducked Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades has been on record saying that. I asked for him years ago, didn't want it then. I then asked for him in Paris. They flew me over. We tried to make that fight. He didn't want it then. And we'll see what the UFC want to do.
Ciryl tweeted that he thinks you should be careful what you wish for, and he'll see you in Paris. How do you think you match up against Ciryl?
I better be careful, apparently. Yeah. I think I match up pretty well against him. I think I'm equally as fast as him. I move equally as well. The difference is I can grapple. I've got a lot of power. And I think that's pretty undeniable at this stage of my career. I've got a lot of knockouts on my record, mate. I have to touch you once, and I wasn't even throwing heavy tonight. I thought it was going to be a 5-rounder. I didn't mean to knock him out. I was pretty sure that was going to be a 5-round fight tonight, and just takes one shot, mate, at heavyweight, especially with me throwing him.
Ciryl Gane is maybe next opponent for you?
Well, he can fight Almeida first, because he refused the fight with me. So now, before he jumps back in and waits for his shot, he can fight Almeida. Them guys can fight, and the winner can fight me.
And at this point, that's not the kind of matchup Aspinall is looking for.
Like, he didn't put up any resistance in that fight, lost it really easily. You can't then come back and beat the number 8 or 9 guy and then go straight back to fight Jon Jones. That's just not how it works, man. You can't be like, oh yeah, I deserve a title shot now. No, you don't. You've had 2 goals, you lost.
Aspinall isn't looking to kill time. He's here to leave a mark. In a recent interview, he didn't mince words. If Jon Jones won't show up, he's willing to take on anyone, even Francis Ngannou. That name seemed to come out of left field, but the second he mentioned it, the MMA community exploded with buzz and speculation.
Aspinall versus Francis, who wins?
Oh, that's a good fight. That's a great fight. Always been a big fan of Francis. Love his story, love what he's all about. I think it's a 50-50 fight, to be honest. Francis is a scary man. But I think technically I would take the edge, but I think that's a great fight.
Perfect.
Is this the surprise showdown fans have been waiting for? Could Tom Aspinall actually be targeting the most dangerous heavyweight outside the UFC? It caught everyone off guard, but it's got the MMA world buzzing. While the UFC remains silent and Jon Jones keeps dropping cryptic hints on social media, Aspinall is doing the opposite, staying sharp, staying vocal, and making it clear he refuses to be sidelined by politics. And if a clash with Francis ever materializes, it would be nothing short of a war. On one side, the former UFC heavyweight champion, feared for his explosive power and jaw-dropping knockouts.
Who's next big heavyweight star?
Tom Aspinall, the guy who
Of
just
course, who
won
just
the
won.
interim title. He's phenomenal. And he is, again, the next the next advancement of the evolution of the sport.
How so?
Well, because he can do everything. That guy's got elite jiu-jitsu. He's got elite takedowns. His striking is outstanding. Like, I've seen a lot of heavyweight, even Francis, who's like the greatest, scariest power striker I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. No one's scarier than Francis. Francis does not move like Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is significantly faster than every other heavyweight. That's a real problem because he's a heavyweight and he's a big guy, a really big guy, but he moves so fast. And so his speed has always been like extraordinary compared to other heavyweights. Like, he just fucking moves in. It's all like fast, explosive movements. So he's got natural speed, but then he's also got a lot of training to execute quickly. So when he moves in, he closes the gap. You can see like he's fast for a big guy.
Right. I want to see it so bad.
John was shitting all over Aspinall, saying that
I think that's a bad way to go.
He was lucky that he blew his knee out with Curtis Blades because Curtis was teeing off
Doing
on him.
well.
Unless John avoided him, unless John used his wrestling to avoid exchanges, you know what that's all about.
Correct. It's called the Shop Shutdown.
Shop Shutdown.
I saw a 7-part
They did with
series on
Cyborg.
it. Yes. The Stipe fight, which is just like, it's a weird thing.
Aspinall's an athlete, man. He's such a good athlete.
Freak athlete.
Very fast. Very fast for a heavyweight.
So fast.
Yeah, but we felt the same way about Cyril Gahn.
Yeah,
but Cyril Gahn doesn't have wrestling, doesn't have jiu-jitsu. Aspinall's like legit on the ground. Very legit on the ground.
So legit that his dad owned jiu-jitsu gym. His dad's a black belt. He started doing jiu-jitsu at 2.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Aspinall is past the first round, right? Because we've seen him. He looks so fast. He looks, you're like, nobody moves like him. He looks like a younger Kane.
Right.
But he just keeps knocking these guys out so quick. So I'm like, let me see him pass the first round to see if he has that cardio as well.
It's a bit of a problem for him, right? Because he has not been tested in that way.
I think Tom smokes him. I do. And I think John is probably very conscious of that threat as well. I'm not saying he doesn't think he can win, but he understands that this will be a tough fight. But they're all tough fights. They're all supposed to be tough fights. Reality is, Jon Jones is now the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And when he fights Stipe Miocic, and if he is victorious, then he has to face Tom Aspinall next. This is just the way the world works, okay? And if he refuses to fight Tom Aspinall next, then we got to start having a serious conversation as to whether or not this man should be stripped. John is the undisputed champion of the world. Tom is the interim champion. This is how it works. They face one another. He's calling out Alex Pereira for a legacy fight. That wasn't your thinking at light heavyweight. You were taking on all comers. And that is what a champion is supposed to do. Take on all comers. What I'm saying is sounds crazy. I'm not saying this as a Jon Jones hater. But if this was boxing, Jon Jones would be stripped. That's a fact.
On the opposite side stands one of the quickest and most skilled heavyweights the UFC has showcased in recent memory. Tom Aspinall combines the speed of a middleweight with devastating power, and he remains calm even when the pressure's on. This fight would be a thrilling, unpredictable battle, two striking specialists going head-to-head with huge stakes on the line.
Ngannou is, in my opinion, one of the most dangerous punchers ever. He is an absolute physical specimen. I thought he was just dangerous with the little gloves on. You know, he comes in from all angles, he throws all over the place, he's a little bit wild. And then obviously when he put the boxing gloves on, the 10 ounces, obviously that transferred over, and the guy is just an absolute truck. And I think that one of the things that is most dangerous, someone from my perspective, who is obviously an MMA fighter, I've sparred a lot of rounds with Tyson Fury, a lot of rounds with other professional high-level boxers, and the success that I have personally is when I do unorthodox things. You know, boxers, they've been sparring, they've been fighting since they're young. You know, let's say they're 30 years old, they've been sparring and fighting since they were 10. Most boxers have very similar styles. They're working behind a jab, a double jab, a 1-2, a 1-2 left hook, traditional stuff, whereas MMA fighters, they're throwing punches on angles that they're not used to. They're doing unorthodox.
Francis Ngannou is scary. You know, there's a big chance that he could break my jaw. With Francis Ngannou, it's very simple. Get comfortable with the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is he knocks you the fuck out. He possibly fractures a bone in your face. That's the worst case scenario. You get real comfortable with that idea, and then it becomes easy. If he doesn't knock you out and break your face, you're smart, you're fast, you have a chin, you have great head movement. You know, you can wrestle. You can. There's a lot of ways things can play out. So I just think about the worst case scenario and get yourself mentally to a place where you're almost walking into that. Like, okay, I'm getting ready to go out there and this guy could possibly hurt me tonight. So that's the way I look at it. It's like, yeah, Francis Ngannou is dangerous, yes. I believe that he has a chance to knock me the fuck out. Let's say that out loud. But if I don't get knocked out, I believe I win that fight. I just gotta get through round 1 and I win that fight.
But looming over the entire division is the ongoing Jon Jones saga. His dropped hints about a comeback, pointed fingers at the UFC for holding things up, and insisted his legacy is already solid. So he doesn't need to prove himself again. Yet, he also contradicts himself, expressing a desire to fight, to face a big-name opponent, and to continue working with the promotion. On the other side, Dana White claims he hasn't received any updates from Jones, isn't focusing on Francis Ngannou, and says the division is simply waiting for clarity.
He's retired, he's never going to fight again. He also said that he hasn't worked out since his last fight in November. We're in June, that's 6 or 7 months, okay? We're going to talk about all of that because Tom Aspinall also said that there's a big announcement coming soon.
Massive announcement incoming.
And we know we're rinsing this, but this is the biggest story in mixed martial arts for the biggest fight in mixed martial arts and potentially the biggest duck avoidant regarding everyone.
I see quite a few people in here calling me a duck. I'm a duck. Call me a duck. Call me a chicken. Call me a goat. Call me a dog. I'm not in high school anymore, guys. A grown man out here chasing his dreams. It's funny that we really live in a world where being called a duck should affect me. Guys, come on.
I got people in the chat calling me a duck. Meanwhile, I'm living my absolute best life. I don't know if it's considered duck when you're living good. I don't think it works like that.
It's not about you, John. It's not about you. It's not about your life. It's not about your story. If you want to enjoy your life, if you want to be a part of a reality show, if you want to take that money and delay things and hold someone else's dreams back from becoming a reality, that is ducking. That is ducking because there is a time-honored tradition in this business, in the sport, in combat sports, in fight sports, in sports period, that the whole thing has to move along. It's not about your story. Your story is great and you're living your best life, great. Get rid of that belt. If you want to do that, great. No one will begrudge you. Everyone thinks you've done enough. You've earned enough. You've proven enough. Now allow someone else to have that same story. Allow someone else to write that same story. You are holding him back. You are holding back not only Tom Aspinall, but the rest of the division. So yes, you're missing the point. This isn't about you. It's about the belt. How many more times does Tom have to say it? He would love to fight him. He would love to be he would love to have the opportunity to be that guy. He would love it. Who wouldn't? But he just wants that belt. He wants whatever that belt signifies, whatever it symbolizes, and what it brings. It brings all the things that Jon Jones is enjoying right now, because if Jon Jones wasn't the most decorated champion, wasn't the greatest light heavyweight champion, wasn't the 2-division champion, he wouldn't be doing things like this. He wouldn't get opportunities like this. He wouldn't get the opportunity to live his best life. And now you are stopping someone else from living their best life. Do you get the difference? It's not about you. And so when the legends fought you, and I'm not even talking about when you were champ or tried to become champ, I'm talking about the dudes that fought you on the way up.
Caught in the middle of all this is Tom Aspinall, the interim champ, the fighter who stepped up on short notice, saved the event, and secured a victory in under 70 seconds. Yet, he still hasn't received the clear direction he deserves. It's easy to see why fans are growing frustrated. Some think Jon Jones is playing a strategic game, holding back, negotiating carefully, and waiting for the ideal matchup to safeguard his legacy.
He was the one who delayed and delayed and delayed till Francis was out the fucking door. He could have fought Francis a long time ago. If he'd just taken the chance of going up to heavyweight earlier, we could have had him versus a prime Cain Velasquez. Cain Velasquez was 240. Jon Jones is 260, 265. And you're telling me Cain Velasquez was too big for him? What a load of shit. Stipe Miocic could have fought him in his prime, another one who was no bigger than Jon Jones. So when he's giving it the big and being like, oh, well, people always think someone's going to come and dethrone me. And yeah, I get the narrative. That was the way at light heavyweight. There was always that next guy coming up. But you ain't never fought an animal like Tom Aspinall, who is as quick on his feet, who has the speed that he does at 260 pounds, who has the heavy hands that he does. You have never been in there with a beast like that. It's just not happened. I'm not saying that means Aspinall wins, but for people to do the Tyson Fury thing of going, oh, well, he's always won, so therefore he always will win.
When you're an interim champion, they only make an interim champion when the champion cannot defend the belt. So for Jon Jones, he couldn't defend the belt because he tore his pec muscle. So the interim champion means he should be fighting the champion right off the bat. That's not the case with Jon Jones, right? Because Jon Jones is going to fight Stipe Miocic. So the interim champion is supposed to sit there and wait. But by law, in like the regulations, once Jon Jones steps in the cage, he is stripped of his interim champion because the champion has returned. There is no longer for interim champion. What is the point of having an interim champion when the champion is ready to fight?
This is the only sport in the world you can have somebody hold your career back.
Yep. I've been almost a year inactive with no prospects of anything. Just be ready, and we'll just let you know.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of difficult, like mentally, to.
Oh yeah.
This is the fight against Jon Jones. Like, not the fight is another thing.
Yeah.
This is the tricky bit where I really have to stay switched on, stay motivated, and. I'm trying my best. It's tough. As you said a minute ago, no one really knows what's going on behind the scenes apart from me.
Exactly. You're an office cooking.
I train all the time anyway. Just because I've not got a fight doesn't mean I don't train. Like, I honestly can see Jon's point of view. I get it.
Yep.
I get it. It's just about the title for me.
Yep.
I just want the title, that's it.
Yep.
Does nothing else really matters. So
you're like, let me do my thing. Let me fight.
I just want to fight.
And I think that's the respectful way to go about it. It's like, you don't care if it's Jon, and it's no disrespect to Jon, it's no disrespect to anybody out there. You're just trying to fight. Yep. I just want to fight.
Yep.
Many believe Aspinall represents exactly the kind of challenge Jon Jones wants to avoid at the moment. Stylistically, Tom is a tough puzzle. Quick, strong, composed, precise, and getting better with each fight amid all the speculation and debates. One thing is clear. The UFC heavyweight division is currently at a standstill.
One guy being the champion of each division. I defended the interim once already. It's almost unheard of, that. It's unprecedented. I thought it was silly the first time, to be honest. The reason that I did it, the first time I fought Curtis Blades, it went down as a loss. I got injured. Worst moment of my career, one of the worst moments of my life. I wanted to redeem myself and get the legit victory against Curtis Blades because it was unfinished business. Like, that was hurting my ego, and I wanted to prove that I was better than Blades, which I did in the rematch, and I defended the interim. Something else, that particular fight was in Manchester, in my hometown. I wanted to fight in my hometown. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to do that again in front of a sold-out, brand new Co-op Live arena in Manchester, England. I don't know if I'm ever going to have the opportunity to do that again. So for them two reasons, that's why I defended the interim. I'm not doing it again. Like, I've cleared out the rest of the division, undisputed, and that's it. I deserve a shot at being known as the best heavyweight walking around on planet Earth. It doesn't matter on the opponent, undisputed, mate.
Stupid. But I have no idea the reason why the UFC don't really want Tom to fight anybody else other than Jon Jones. And, you know, they're saying, stay tuned. That's the message they wanted Tom to give out to people. And we had the meeting with Hunter. And they're going to try and fix the fight with Jon Jones. But we're still in April now. Still waiting for this guy to say, I'll have a fight or I'll not have a fight. And I don't really understand that. He's a fighter who should be having fights. Why is he just still sat around not giving an answer as to whether he's going to fight or not? Tom's done all he can do. You know, he's fought in the middle of the night to defend an interim. He fought for an interim because the fight was on for him to do an interim and he couldn't turn it down. And he won that. What else can he do?
Until Jon Jones defends his title or the UFC takes decisive action, the situation remains stuck. Cyril Gane could be a contender, but Aspinall has made it clear he's aiming for a bigger challenge, something more dangerous and significant. Whether that opponent is Jon Jones, Francis Ngannou, or anyone else bold enough to step into the cage, Tom Aspinall is prepared. His career can't be put on hold any longer, and neither can the fans' anticipation.